Namaste. Welcome to yoga today. It's wonderful to have you here with us. And nice to be back. We've had a little time off. So I thought that we would start back by thinking about the beautiful yogi Patanjali, who's known as the father of yoga. And really, he set down, and for the first time in a written form, the Yoga Sutras, these threads of wisdom that he spoke of. And so the language is a little old, but we'll talk about it in more modern day language. So this is something that he spoke about in the sutras. He said, for him who discerns between the mind and the spiritual man, there comes perfect fruition after the real being of self, that longing for your true self. So what he's saying is, when you can see the difference between your mind and your soul. You know, yogis talk about this as being your vehicle, your physical body, but so also are your mind and emotions. They're part of this vehicle that you live life through. And so what happens to us is that we make the mistake of thinking that we are our mind. And so Patanjali was saying, make the distinction between your mind and your soul, and everything will change for you. And he says, when you can make that difference, he says, and these are just some of the things he said. I just picked the three that I liked best, but there are more. And the first one is, he says, when you make that distinction and you recognize the soul inside of you, you enter into the immortality of God. Your soul is immortal. When you recognize that inside you, you touch the immortality. In fact, he says you enter the immortality of God. And one of the universal qualities of being a human being is that we want to know that we are loved and to love other people. And so Patanjali says, when you make this distinction, he talks about the mind. When he talks about the mind, he means the mind and emotions that work together. You know, a thought has a feeling that goes with it. You know, when we think about something, we have a feeling about something at the same time. Sometimes our thoughts can be positive and our feelings can be negative, but even so, that's a package that comes together. So when you recognize the difference between this package of your mind and your heart, what happens to this sense of being loved? And he says, you will be made a dispenser of the divine love of God himself to weary souls. So having wondered if you're loved, wondering if you know how to love, and feeling lonely and unloved, when we make this distinction, then we know we're loved. And that love that because we feel loved, we're able to express that love to others. So he says, you made a dispenser of the divine love of God himself to weary souls. And the third one is, and this is just something beautiful, you know, sometimes we do feel lonely and, you know, maybe we don't have friends or we're not with our friends. And he says, when you make this distinction, you shall have angels and archangels for your friends and all the immortal hosts of dawn. So all that is good, your friends will be the great ones, the great souls. So, excuse me, there's a frog in my throat here. So Patanjali, who was such a great yogi, having experienced for himself this difference between the mind and the spiritual person that you are, was able to tell us these things. And he says, well, we'll come back to how are we going to do that? How are we going to make that distinction for ourselves between the mind that gets upset, well, the emotions that get upset and angry, the mind that thinks, misunderstands everything? You know, are you going to rely on your mind that is just a collection of thoughts and ideas that are some right, some not so good? You know? Or are you going to rely on your soul, that spark of divinity within you? And so in one of the great yoga scriptures, the Upanishads, they talk about a liberated soul or an enlightened person has passed beyond the triad. What triad is that? And yogis would say it's the triad of past, present, and future. So we get bogged down in the past, it's gone. Whatever has happened to you in the past, it's not happening in this moment. It's gone. And what we worry about for the future, or what we look forward to in the future, it hasn't happened. It may not happen, good and bad, it may not happen. So we don't want, this is a triad of delusion, really. You know, you see life projected in past, present, and future. But yogis would say these are divisions made in your own mind. He said, but once you go past that distinction, looking at life in past, present, and future, he says, you behold all things spread out in the quiet light of eternity. In other words, you see life the way your soul sees it, not the way the mind sees it. When you go beyond this time, you have the wisdom born of the unveiling of time's delusion. It's hard for the mind to comprehend what that might really mean. So yoga is experiential. It's not just about reading about something or talking about something. It's about experiencing it. So we're going to do a practice now. And because time is one of the great delusions, that learning to focus, to meditate in a way, he says, meditate on these divisions of time. And when you do that, not only the divisions of time, but he calls them the successes, all the things that come with thinking about the past and the future. You know, people have difficult pasts. We look at past through the eyes of our child self. So even though it's an honest appraisal from that moment in time, it's still the eyes of a child who doesn't understand the whole picture. So that memory, that looking back in the past, even that isn't good. You know, it's not good reporting. We're not a good reporter of our own past. So how are we going to do this? So we're going to do this beautiful practice. And the first thing to do is you want to sit meditatively. So sitting with your spine straight. Feet flat on the floor if you're sitting in a chair, or just sitting cross-legged if you're sitting on the floor. Let your arms and shoulders relax, palms facing upright. Just try it. Put your palms flat on your legs and then turn them up. When your palms are up, you're more receptive. And take a couple of deep breaths. As you breathe in, feel your chest expanding as you breathe in. And feel yourself relax as you breathe out. Feel your shoulders relax with that exhalation. Breathing in again. And now, as you breathe in, just be aware of your breath. Just notice it. And then notice it breathing out. Notice your out breath. And we're just going to do that for a few minutes. Just watch the breath. You're not making yourself breathe. You're just watching yourself breathe. Breathing in and breathing out. Now gently stop watching the breath. Just be aware of being still. And if you notice any thoughts of the past, so anything that happened before this moment, if any of the thoughts of the past come up, just label it past and let it go, just like a bubble pops. Just let that thought go. Don't hold on to it and let it grow. Just touch it with the word past and let it go. Be patient. Don't try to make it leave. Be gentle. Be precise. And we'll do that for a few minutes. And as your thoughts of the past get less, do the same with future thoughts, thoughts of things that may or may not happen in the future. Just label them future and let them go. As the mind quiets down and the thoughts of past and future get fewer and fewer, see if you can sense the peace that comes from sitting in that still, quiet place. Now we want to bring any insights or peace, joy, quiet in through the whole of our being, so it becomes part of our daily life, not just some place you visit in meditation. So just sensing the blessings of your meditation coming down through the whole of your being, from your soul into your intuition, the buddhi, the seat of intuition, into the mind and emotions, into your life force, your breath, your heartbeat, into your physical body as you tense and relax your arms and legs. And then just swaying your body from side to side, making bigger arcs first and then just getting smaller and smaller until you're just sitting straight. And very gently drop your chin to your chest. Relax. And then if you have any neck problems, just bringing your head from one side, from one shoulder to the other. And if you don't have any neck problems, just making full circles, just gently, slowly. And then in the opposite direction. And relax. And when you're ready, just very gently, there's no rush. But when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. And see that even with your eyes open, can you sense that wholeness of your being? Really, as we meditate, that's what we want to do, is to see this difference between what your mind and emotions are doing every day and who you truly are. And even a glimpse of that improves the quality of our lives. I hope you have a wonderful week. Namaste. My soul bows to your soul.